never before seen. Most people question if they even exist.
We do. I'm right here.
Introducing the first ever African-American female late-night host.
Hold up, I'm not the first.
Introducing like the third or fourth ever African-American female late-night host.
I'd body roll, but I'm on a unicorn.
The Rundown with Robin Thede. Executive produced by Chris Rock. Premieres Thursday, October 12th at 11 on BET.
Anybody got any lotion? This unicorn's making me itch. BET, no lotion.
Not just a unicorn, ladies and gentlemen. Haley's Comet.
Ooh.
In the form of a beautiful black woman.
Very good.
The only one of her kind right now. It's not many out there that's doing what she's doing. I want to personally thank her for the personal invite to be on the Larry Wilmore show.
Yes.
You remember that?
Of course.
Do you remember that?
Of course. You were incredible.
Okay, thank you.
Probably the best guest we ever had.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
I heard the rating spiked.
They did. Not enough to keep us from getting canceled. But for a little while, you kept us on. Thank you.
Robin Thede is here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at her accolades. Real Husbands of Hollywood, first 2 seasons.
Yeah, I remember that.
Queen Latifah's show, which, by the way, had the... You don't like the headphones?
No, I got it. All right, I'm good.
How
do I look? Am I cute?
Oh, my God, you get your own show now? You don't want to use the headphones?
I know. No, my hair person is going to be like, bitch, get those things off of your head. Am I cute?
Going on?
No, you cute.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
You still look great, you know. Congratulations. In case you don't know, Robin Thede is has her own show, The Rundown.
I do.
Premiering October 12th.
Yes.
On BET, 11 p.m. You're going against the heavy hitters.
I am. But you know what the nice thing is about this show? We get to talk directly to black people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I didn't have as much as we got to do really cool stuff on the nightly show. At the end of the day, BET said, come and just talk to us.
Yeah.
And give us the stories that we care about.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's important to me because I feel like these other shows, while they're trying to reach out, Trump has brought a lot of the, care out of people, right? Trump has brought a lot of the concern out of people.
Empathy.
Which is great. Empathy, sure. And they're all, it's great to hear them talk about him and at him and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, we got other things that matter to us. You know what I mean? We're used to having, crazy white men do bad shit to us. Like that's not, you know what I mean? Like that's not something that's new.
That's the history of our country?
Correct. That's how we got here.
That's how we got here. So what kind of things that you think are specific to us that you're going to be covering on the show?
Look, I want to talk about the stories that the other hosts aren't going to cover. Like, it's just interesting stuff that's happening. Remember when James Blake, like this week I was just thinking about, remember when James Blake got tackled by that cop?
There's identification.
Yeah.
They didn't know who he was.
Right. They didn't know who he was, but he supposedly looked like another black dude. And then you saw the picture of them side by side and they didn't look nothing alike.
Yeah.
So that cop is now suing the NYPD and James Blake.
Are you serious?
For making him out to be a racist. I'm like, no. Your racism made you a racist.
Yeah. He's really suing him?
He's suing him. So I think it's stories. I mean, there's stories that just kind of like go under the radar. And I'm not saying that's like our lead story, but it is something that I care about. I keep saying, I want to know what's going on with Flint. They still don't have no clean water. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
The pipe's still corroded,
still messed up.
Okay, so I like this.
Yeah, it's going to be
fun. I
fun.
like this. And then are you going to talk about like, entertainers and that sort of thing? Okay.
I mean, we have a section just about Sway.
Okay, good. That's important.
Sway sag.
This show is going to be a hit.
We know what we're doing.
No,
I think for us, we're going to talk about politics and pop culture, right? Because I care about what Trump is doing, but we didn't vote for him. I don't need to dedicate my whole half hour to him. We don't care. We're like, yeah, he's bad. Great. Move on.
Hold up. Some of us, a lot of folks of color voted for Trump.
How many's a lot?
At least 18.
Mm-hmm.
At least
You're
18,
right. You're right. Well, for those 18, this show is not for them.
No, it's not for them? Okay, Robin Thede is here. So we got to get your take on a lot of stuff that's happening.
Great.
Too, okay? So we're going to come back and talk about what's in the news today.
Dope.
Okay, Robin Thede is here. 888-742-3345. You want to talk to her, give us a call.
Rockefeller.
And now, here's Mike Muse with the political news.
So let's get right to it and meet the candidates.
That completes the opening statement.
We're going to get right to it.
On Sway in the Morning.
All right, we got Robin Thede's here, ladies and gentlemen. We got the new show, The Rundown, premiering October 12th, 11 p.m. on BET.
That's right.
Are you the only black woman to have a night show at this time?
Currently, yes. I am
Currently.
the only black woman in late night.
Does it feel? Do you have any? You feel
Yeah.
pressure?
I'm
or
not
you
the
feel-
first, though. I
You're
just
not
want to
the
be clear.
first, but yeah, I know Monique had a show.
Monique, Whoopi, and Wanda.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what does that feel like? Because all their
Oh,
shows
man.
ended up ending.
Yeah,
You know.
they did, and I think Monique's went the longest. That was 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Look, I think they were kind of in the talk show game too, with like guests and kind of bands and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
what we've done is we've stripped this back to straight satire. So we're doing politics and pop culture as we care about it, like you got it in your group chat or you got it on Black Twitter.
Okay.
But it's going to be smart and it's elevated. And we got a little sketch in there and we got some short documentaries that we're doing about social justice issues that black people, some stuff you ain't even never heard that's going on with us
Yeah.
that none of these other shows are going to cover. And then we have pop-up concerts. So we're doing every other week or so we'll have new or established artists coming on, popping up in like a bodega around the city. Kind of like what Chappelle did with music, but just taking it to a 2017 place.
So how, I want to hear about Black China on your show. So how
Yes,
was that? How
you
was
are
that
definitely
happen?
gonna-
Let's get to the important stuff here.
Well, Tokyo Tommy's been clowning on Instagram, thirst trapping for O.J. Simpson this week.
Okay, that's her
Have you
mom,
heard about
right?
this?
Yeah,
Yes, that is
okay.
her mother.
Okay.
She was like, "It's cool. I'm not scared. Like I'm ready." And I'm just like, "Who does this?" She just ready to get O.J. fresh out. I just love it. So I think there's a funny way that we can weave pop culture into our conversations about politics and stuff that's going on with black people.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's certainly not gossipy in any sort of way. It's still that late night feel that you're going to get from like a Sam B. John Oliver.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's for us. So it's going to have that funk to it.
What's so bad about her looking for OJ?
I didn't say it was
Oh,
bad.
okay.
Did you hear me say it was
I
bad?
don't know. He's gonna have gallons, gallons of backup.
Correct.
See, that you gotta, you're gonna have to release that somehow, some way.
You do. And I think that she is just, shooting her shot. I'm not mad.
You're not mad at
No,
it.
I'm not mad.
Okay, Robin, let's get your take on a few things. Right now, the world is focused on Puerto Rico, right, Mike Muse?
Yeah, Robin. So
Yeah.
our commander-in-chief became
Yours, not mine.
controller-in-chief or a counselor-in-chief, and he went to Puerto Rico yesterday. As we all know, Puerto Rico, the island is still 93% without power,
That's
and
right.
over half of the country still doesn't have running water.
That's right.
And here's what President Trump had to say.
Every death is a horror. But if you look at a real catastrophe like Katrina,
Wow.
and you look at the tremendous hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that died, and you look at what happened here with really a storm that was just totally overpowering. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. What is your death count as of this moment?
Oh, my
17?
God.
Jesus.
16 people certified. 16 people versus in the thousands. You can be very proud of all of your people, all of our people working together. 16 versus literally thousands of people. You can be very proud. Everybody around this table and everybody watching can really be very proud of what's taken place in Puerto Rico.
Wow, you could be proud. Only
Of those
16
numbers.
16 out of, I don't know, what number is it? Is it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
72? I flew down here to console you, but I don't know how many deaths
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he's talking about. Everything with him, he's obsessed with numbers.
Yeah.
So whether it's a rating or a TV rating or a number, he just, like, there's something about him that has to have a number, and it doesn't matter if it's dead bodies or TV ratings. He's just obsessed.
And Robin, to go with numbers, so immediately after that press conference was over, the death toll actually rose to 34 deaths. So before he even got back on Air Force One to come back here to the mainland.
And that was just
the
in
death toll
reaction to
rose.
what he said. That didn't even have anything to do with the hurricane.
At all. And you talked
He was
about,
just passed away.
Yeah, and we're talking about numbers. So he actually mentioned the budget. And speaking of numbers, he actually mentioned the budget.
Wait, hold on,
Here's
listen.
what he had to say about the budget.
Now, I hate to tell you, Puerto Rico, but you've thrown our budget a little out of whack because we've spent a lot of money on Puerto Rico, and that's fine. We've saved a lot of lives.
I'm sure
Yo.
Puerto Ricans were happy
Yo.
to hear that part.
Yo,
It-
I'm glad that most of them are without power so they can't see this BS.
Yeah.
I'm just like, but at the same time, how do you help people who are suffering by doing that? You know what I mean? It's just like this man is such a narcissist and he just has no concern for human life. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, Robin, what is your thoughts on that? Because as we look at, every time President Trump speaks about Puerto Rico, he's always talking from this negative. And so
Yes.
we're seeing this very consistent pattern
Correct.
of this tone,
Correct.
this othering, if you will, of Puerto Rico. And when
Absolutely.
it comes to recognizing what's wrong with Puerto Rico, that didn't come up with Texas, right? It didn't come up with Texas. He didn't address all the policies that led to the real estate development of overdeveloping the lands, which
Correct.
caused the floodlands to flood.
Correct.
He didn't address the regulations that happen with the climate change and climate energy in terms of the chemical plant not having the regulations needed to protect the citizens of Houston. So none of that came up. So, like, what is your thoughts in terms of how is that being
This
squared?
is the hypocrisy of his white supremacy. Okay, shout out to Jamel Hill. This is because what happens is you can have two similar things happen, right? You can have Puerto Rico happen, a tragedy that happened to black and brown people, and you can blame them for all the things that you're not doing. And then you have a tragedy happen this week in Las Vegas, this horrific incident that happened in Las Vegas, and he put on his best, like, church face and went out there and was like, God bless these people, and this is so sad. Both things, one is man-made, crazy man-made, and murder, and the other is a natural disaster. You would think you had more sympathy for people. Now, I'm not saying he shouldn't have had sympathy for people in Las Vegas. He absolutely did the right thing, coming out and saying his heart was breaking and this was awful. But he should have done the same thing in Puerto Rico. And it's just crazy to me. The same thing happened, honestly, actually, speaking about Jamel Hill, when she said he's a white supremacist, and then the Miss Texas contestant the same week said he should have addressed the white supremacy. He had words and firings and all this BS for Jamel, but nothing for Miss Texas.
Right.
And they both said the same thing.
Yep.
So that's where you see it consistently, the hypocrisy of his beliefs in white supremacy. You really do.
Well, hypocrisy. Let's talk about the hypocrisy of media, if you will. And I'd be curious to get your thoughts on this. And you brought up Vegas, right? And so we look at Vegas and with the shooter, the killer, the terrorist, Stephen Paddock, that was mentioned. We've been hearing words in the media like he was a lone wolf. He was a very successful man. He was very wealthy.
He was a terrorist.
He was a terrorist. But what we're hearing in the media, though, is this is what the media is saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he was a terrorist.
The media is describing him as this lone wolf, this wealthy individual, very successful. He's a great accountant. He lives in this very Tony retirement neighborhood, if you will. What are your thoughts on the contradiction? Because some would say a gentleman who has 47 arms in 3 locations, a gentleman who has cameras and the peepholes. What are your thoughts on how the media is covering him versus how they cover other shootings and situations across America, particularly when it comes to urban individuals and people of color?
Absolutely. Look, we all know this, right? We see this lone wolf. Oh, he's just a misguided soul. No one will say that he's a terrorist. But there were, right when the shooting happened, there was all this misinformation. And everybody was like, it's a Muslim. And they were putting up pictures of brown people. And first of all, like, being a Muslim is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Like, they vilified even that term. And then when it came out that there was this older white dude, everything shifted. And it was like, oh, he was just a sweet old grandpa. And it's like, wait a minute. This man is a murderer at the least. And he is a terrorist at best. I mean, it's just, it is crazy how that happens. But I do think we can go beyond in providing coverage, even in the comedy space, because I'm not reporting the news, but I am definitely reacting to it and calling out the ridiculousness and the outrage of that kind of stuff.
I was going to ask you, how do you make that funny? How do you make us laugh at that?
You know what you do? We're actually doing, so we premiere next week, so obviously this story would be, a little old by then, but it's certainly something that we're discussing in our room as we're preparing for next week. And I think for us, what we would focus on, like, there was this black dude that got shot in the neck who saved like 30 people at the concert and get no credit. We're like, this black dude had the courage to go to a country music festival and he stayed and saved lives. Like, this is the hero. This is the person who needs the credit. But also how they dragged that Filipino lady, how they dragged that lady who's his girlfriend. Now, I don't know what her involvement is, but it is funny to me that before we even knew who the shooter was, and I know they have to identify family and stuff, but we knew everything about Mary Lou Danley. You know what I mean? And it was like, hey, this person of color, like, definitely let's see what's up with her, And look, the police have to do their job. I'm not faulting the police, but the media coverage of it has certainly been very different. And if this was a black person, we all know. You know what I mean? We all know how that would be. And I know that the media on one hand has a job to do as far as providing background because people do want to know about this man. This is the worst mass shooting in history. But at the same time, it's like, focus on the crime also. Because we don't have that generosity. When Philando Castile was murdered, this was a man who had charities and worked with children and was like an upstanding citizen. And the only thing that people remember about him was that, they just keep blaming him for his own death. And it's crazy.
It's crazy, Robin Thede is here. The Rundown is the name of the show. We're putting her to work right now. That brain is on overdrive.
Oh, my God. I need some breakfast.
We got DJ Cisco on the line from Brooklyn. Cisco, what up, man?
Hey, sis.
Oh, man, what is good with you guys this morning? Thank you so much for putting me through.
just have so much to say like about Donald Trump and this nation as a whole right now.
Well, we'll pick one thing to say. Okay, there you go. My man.
Right. Historically, black people are always wrong in whatever we do. A white man can kill up 1,000 people. They'll say, "What's wrong with him? Wonder what happened.
Right.
Wonder what the guy was going through." A black person do it, you savage, you are like monkey, this and that. Now, Donald Trump is not competent or educated enough to run this country. He actually was throwing paper towels to the crowd.
Oh, that was
he was taking
hilarious.
shots though, and he had a Steph Curry kind of arch.
He had a pretty good follow through.
Taking shots. Yeah. Why couldn't he have them line up orderly and give them supplies that they needed and just do it, like in like an organized fashion?
You're asking a rational question about an irrational human.
Yeah, thank you. That just shows you his mental stability. He should not be running this country. This nation is at an all-time low, and the USA is showing its like racist head just over and over and over. And
all right, hey Cisco, thank you, man.
Well, the funny part about it is, look, I think we get kind of alarmist sometimes. He's not wrong, but I do think that, when we say we're at an all-time low, slavery was lower. You know what I mean? We will get through this.
I think a few lower moments, right?
Yeah,
okay.
We had a few lower moments, but I know what he's saying. And I know, for our lifetimes, this feels really harsh, and it feels really hard. And it feels like we're struggling even more than we're getting set back. But we're going to get through it. And we're going to be more resilient. This is helping us come together. Mm-hmm. And I'm not an eternal optimist, but at the end of the day, especially for my show, I don't want to open the show and be doom and gloom all the time, because who wants to watch that? At 11 o'clock, people need to unwind from their day. They need to be felt like they were heard, and they need to laugh. So that's what we're trying to do.
Robin Thede, man, have fun with it, Robin. Have fun. Give it up for Robin, y'all.
Yes.
And Mike Muse as well. If you want to continue this conversation, you can hit up Mike Muse offline.
On Twitter and Instagram at I am Mike Muse, M-U-S in Sam E.
Robin, how can they reach you if they want to hit you directly? Send her up, support her.
I'm at Robin Thede everything, ROBINTHEDE on Instagram, and I'm also at The Rundown BET on all social media, so you can come check us out.
Okay, we will be checking you out. Can't wait for our first guest appearance. Robin Thede, The Rundown, October 12th, 11 p.m. on BET. Thanks for coming through. All right, and we got sports up next.
Yes, Sway. The MLB playoffs kicked off last night in the Bronx. I'll tell you about it.
It's 845.
Hey.
All's my life I has